Bright Duty. Every student matters.
In this unit 10, we are going to do the discussion over the different sociologists where they have presented their views on the different issues. The first one, we are going to divide it into first part, this unit, where we'll discuss about G.S. Ghurye on caste system, how he has presented his viewpoint. In the second part of this unit, we'll talk about Yogendra Singh, who has presented his viewpoint on tradition and modernity. And in third part of this unit, we'll do the discussion over Radha Kamal Mukherjee, who has presented his views on values. So before proceeding, we have to understand the origin and development of sociology in India, means how it was started and how it developed gradually in Indian society. At present, if we talk about, sociology is well established in India. Many universities, if we talk about, they offer sociology as a subject of study. And there are large number of scholars, those who are doing research in the different branches of sociology. This development took place over a period of time. The growth of sociology in India can be divided into the three different phases. So, if we talk about the concept of the sociology is not new to the Indian society, it was started earlier and the different branches are also there. So, it's a very vast subject we can say, and nowadays it is getting popularity as it is given as a main subject in many of the college and universities. Here we have seen that this sociology is divided into three phases. So, we'll talk about that what are the three phases here. The first phase covers the period from the establishment of British rule in about 1900. So, the first phase we can say it was started years back in around 1900. During this period, the government published gazetters and census report containing the information on various aspects of social and cultural life of the people, where they started mentioning or where they started collecting the data based on these factors, based on the social and the cultural aspects of life of the particular people of the region. These were meant primarily for the administrative purposes. During this period, if we talk about European scholars like Max Muller studied and translated Sanskrit, Arabic and Persian work also. During the second phase, if we talk about, that was for covering the period from 1900 to 1950. Three distinct trends developed within this period. The first was the development of descriptive ethnography. In the first period, here if we talk about, the second phase was further divided into three main parts, and in the first part, it took place the development of descriptive ethnography. British administrator and official, they wrote different books describing the tribes and the caste which were existing in India during that time period. The second, so here we can mention in the first phase they mention the descriptive ethnography, and in the second stage of this period we can say the second was the development of Indology or the study of Indian affairs, making use of Sanskrit and Arabic or Persian literature. So, that was the content included, that was the things included in the second stage of this development. That was related to, here we can mention Indology, where they studied about the Indian affairs. The third was the coming of social anthropology from British universities. British and Indian scholars from these universities, they conducted studies on some communities and villages in India. So in the third phase, what they were doing, they started collecting the data, they started doing the research and study based on the different communities of villages in India. In addition, the Department of Sociology were also established in some universities. So different or the separate departments were also originated just for doing the research on the society, on the social and the cultural life of the people at that time. And mainly these centers were started in Bombay, Lucknow and Calcutta. All the three trends that we have discussed here, namely anthropography, Indology and social anthropology, they contributed to the development of sociology and social anthropology in India. So in the first one, it was related to anthropology. The second was related to Indology, where they talked about the Indian affairs, and the third one was social anthropology. So these were the three main stages of the second phase. The third phase, if we talk about, it began just after independence. Here the scholars from Europe and America, they started conducting the studies in India. And in India, if we talk about many universities, they established the separate department for sociology during that time period. And from India also, the Indian scholars, they started visiting to the foreign countries and started interacting with European and American sociologists and anthropologists. Thus, we can say that sociology come to be well established in India after independence during the third phase. Some of the pioneers among the Indian sociologists, if we talk about, these are Radha Kamal Mukherjee, G.S. Ghurye, Dr. Mukherjee and B.K. Sarkar. So these are some of the famous Indian sociologists. Now we are going to continue with the first main part of this chapter, that is G.S. Ghurye on caste, that how he presented his views on the caste. G.S. Ghurye, born in 1893 till 1984, was born in the present day Maharashtra on the western coast of India. Already as a young student, he studied Indian classical literature. Indian classical literature was a subject, and later he became interested in the study of social institution from the Indological perspective, where he started taking interest in Indian affairs. And just after his specialization in social anthropology in Cambridge University, he attempted a synthesis of Indological and sociological perspective. He taught sociology in the Bombay University for more than around 30 years. And during that time period, he encouraged his students to do the field work as a part of their research. Means here he used to keep more focus on the practical learning. He also wrote the several books based on the matters based on sociology only. So we can say that he played an important role in making sociology an independent discipline. So we can say that he played an important role in making sociology as an independent discipline in India. He also founded the Indian Sociological Society in 1952 and started its biannual journal in Sociological Bulletin. He was of the view that Indian society could be understood only through a combination of historical textual approach with the sociological anthropological approach. He was in the view, if these two approaches are going to mix or are going to be combined, then only the better study of Indian society could be done. And this multiple approach if we talk about this multiple approach is very well seen in his study of caste in India, where he used the different strategies and the combination of the different branches of sociology were included while he presented his views on caste. Now, we are going to discuss that how he gave the description of caste in India. Ghurye dealt with caste in his book Caste and Race in India, first which was published in 1932. He was very well interested in the historical origins of caste, its spread and in the changes taking place in caste. So, he took it as a subject, of research to find out those changes and what were the factors, whether these factors were endogenous or exogenous. He did his research on all these issues, on all these factors which were resulting in bringing the change in Indian society, basically in caste system. He also examined the caste system from both the structural as well as the cultural point of view. Ghurye's description of caste in India identified the following features. The first one, he mentioned the segmental division, where according to him the caste are segments of the society, where he defined caste as a segment of any society. Membership of caste is acquired and fixed by birth. So, during his research, he found that caste is something which could be acquired and is fixed by birth, which cannot be changed by birth in the initial stage. And each caste, if we talk about as a segment, has a life of its own, which further can be affected based on the different factors. And along with that, he mentioned that caste has a center or regulatory mechanism regarding the different rules and the standard of mortality as well as justice. So, this was his viewpoint based on this segmental division. The next he talked about the hierarchy, where the levels of this caste division he mentioned. According to him, the castes are arranged in a hierarchy or order or any of the ranking in terms of superior and inferior positions, which is very well visible in Hindu caste system. Such a hierarchy or the ranking, if we are talking about, it varies from region to region. It is not same everywhere. The different perspectives could be seen in the different area based on the different caste system prevailing in any of the society. But at all the level in India, if we talk about Brahman caste are the one which are placed in the highest rank as compared to the other. And always the untouchables are kept at the, if we talk about the untouchables, they are always kept at the bottom line, whereas the Brahmins are taken as at a higher level. The next one, he mentioned about the principles of purity and pollution, that how the purity, they are in the caste system, the people are talking about purity and what are the things which are creating the pollution among the particular caste. And if we talk about the arrangement of caste in this hierarchy or in this ranking or the order, and their separation from one another is totally based on the principle of this ritual purity and the pollution. These principles, basically we can say, they find their expression in the rules about accepting food from other caste and in contact with members of the other caste. We might have seen that according to M.N. Srinivas, where he mentioned about the Brahmanization, where the low caste people were trying to imitate or trying to grab the values from the high class people, mainly the Brahmins. So usually we have seen the lower caste people. These lower caste people, they accept food habits from the upper caste people. But higher caste do not accept food from the lower caste people. So it is only a one way, it can be taken as the one way transfer where only the one particular caste group is trying to intimate or trying to imitate the thing from the particular caste group. But the one who is at the higher level, those who are at the higher level, they are not going to grab or they are not going to copy down the things from the lower level caste groups. If we talk about the physical contact with the lower caste group generally leads to ritual pollution. So, if the higher caste group people are coming in contact with these lower caste group people, they considered it as the pollution, and for puring themselves they were performing different rituals and all. Even the severe punishment was also given to these low caste people. The next is civil and religious disabilities and privileges. The higher caste, particularly the Brahmin caste if we talk about, they always enjoyed civil and religious privileges because they were considered at the top of this hierarchy. They were considered as the messengers of God, those who has been sent by God and were supposed to dominate over the other three caste group and mainly on the lower caste group. On the other hand, if we talk about the lower caste group, they always suffered the disabilities. Benefits or the privileges were always given to high caste, and whatever the problems or the disabilities were there, they always come under lower caste group. For example, lower caste group cannot move about freely. Still in our country, in our society, many of the villages are there which do not allow these lower caste people to enter in their area. Still, these people are living on the outskirts of the cities or outskirts of the villages where they cannot enter without permission, or if they are entering because they have been taken as the pollution to the particular community. So these are the some restrictions which could be. So these are the some of the restrictions which could be seen in our society which are still prevailing. Even we talk about these low caste people cannot use the Vedic rituals. Still the Brahmins are the one those who are carrying forward all these Vedic rituals and all. Low caste cannot enter temples. Still in many of the places of India or most of the places of India we talk about, these low caste group people are not allowed to enter in the temple where the specific restrictions are put on these people. The next is given, that is lack of choice of occupation. If we talk about occupation, although with the advancement of this urban centers in Indian society, we have seen the scenario of occupation changed when the people were engaged in agricultural sector. At that time, it was decided that what kind of work is to be done by the particular caste group. But when the scenario changed and when the changes started taking place and the establishment of different urban centers started existing in the society, the division or we can say the differences started diminishing. But still we can say that these caste groups still do not have freedom to choose their own occupation in many of the rural areas. We know that every caste is associated with a hereditary occupation. Especially in ancient time, if we talk about the occupation or the work we say was divided according to the caste group. The profession of priesthood and the literary activities if we talk about are always preserved for the Brahmin caste. And non-Brahmin caste are engaged in the other occupations, and the lowest caste if we talk about, they were always supposed to perform the most unclean jobs, and still in our society these kind of things are prevailing. In the next topic I have taken endogamy, where endogamy if we talk about, it restricts the choice of marriage partners to one's own caste, means it is not allowed in many of the areas or in many of the regions, in particular many of the caste, that you cannot choose your own marriage partner within the same caste group. Here, according to that, intermarriage between the caste is totally prohibited, and even the castes are divided or subdivided based on that endogamy. According to Ghurye, endogamy is the most important aspect of the caste system, where they don't allow, under this system where the people are not allowed to do the marriage within the same caste. And according to Ghurye, he examined that this change took place in India, mainly in the caste system if we talk about, during the British period and later on after the independence. In particularly, he felt that the politicization of caste would be harmful to the development and sense of the national unity. Because if politics is going to get involved with the caste, as we know that caste and politics both are inseparable. But if somewhere we are going to involve this politics in this caste system, as we can see that many of the examples in our society taking place based on that only, so it can harm or it can be harmful for the development or to the national unity of our country. So he considered it as one of the threat to our Indian society.